This is 2026. Welcome back to this F1 24 career mode, and this is the beginning of the 2026 season in-game. It is Season 3. We have the F1 24 improved AI and racing mod, a load of cosmetic changes for each of the teams, including 3 brand new teams joining the grid: Audi, Toyota, and High-Tech GP. And as with every new season in Formula 1, the beauty is everything gets reset to 0. Nothing matters from the season before, and you go again. It's been 20 whole days since I uploaded the finale episode for Season 2, so it's safe to say we have taken a decent break in between seasons here. I'm feeling reinvigorated, especially with the improved AI and racing mod. This will be the first full race I get to try it out with. I really hope we're going to be having some more enjoyable racing on this game and in this career mode going forwards. But just taking a look around our new place, getting familiar, and nothing changes. It just seems like the teammates on this game absolutely hate us. Like, there's no interaction. He doesn't even want to look us in the face. George. Okay, never mind. We'll go into the computer, and we'll take a look at the R&D chart for the very first time. And of course, being 2026, some huge swings and upticks of performance over the winter break. It's a new regulation set, so there are going to be some big gains. You can see some massive ones from Toyota and Audi, 2 of the newest teams on this grid, make massive leaps. High-Tech get left behind. Obviously, they used to be Alpine, so you can kind of see why Alpine, boarded up shop and sold, because they really just weren't going anywhere, and High-Tech will have to start from their burning ashes at the bottom of the R&D chart. At the top end, McLaren, our old team from Season 1 and Season 2, make some real big improvements over the winter break into the new era of Formula 1. They top the R&D chart again, but close behind, you can't even see where their line ends, is Red Bull Ford, which obviously has Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton at the wheel. That is going to be very exciting. I saw a few of you guys commenting below on the pre-season video wishing that they would get a top car, and Red Bull and Ford, with their new partnership, have come back on form, and so we are going to see maybe Verstappen and Hamilton duking it out together as teammates at the front of the grid. For us here at Mercedes, along with Ferrari and Aston Martin, we're maybe chasing McLaren and Red Bull a little bit, just like in real life, Merc and Ferrari chasing those 2 teams. But obviously, we've enjoyed our fair share of time at the top with McLaren, and I'm hoping we can try and bring Mercedes, the Silver Arrows, back into the limelight. And you know what? Already feeling pretty comfortable and at home in the Silver Arrow as we go out for the first time in practice. Just get a feeler for how the car handles before we head into qualifying.
And a warm welcome, everybody. We're here in the heart of Melbourne. It's Albert Park, and it's qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix.
So going to qualifying, I thought this was going to be very, very interesting indeed, because I really haven't played this game in 20 days. Since I uploaded the finale of Season 2, I have not done a single full race on F1 24. I don't even think I've turned many laps, even for like other one-off videos, because we've been so focused on F1 Manager and other videos on a set of Corsa, for example. So yeah, this really is my first lap in anger back on this game for 20 days. It's time to dust off a bit of the cobwebs. You can see our first flying lap wasn't too bad. We're now just doing the in-lap, and I'm doing that because with the improved AI and racing mod, if you fast forward or skip in the session, the simulated times won't be realistic anymore to what the AI should be doing with the new mod and with the changes to ERS, the handling, if you don't know what I'm on about, go check the link down below in the description to Kolar's improved AI and racing mod. I did a whole showcase video on it, but basically it changes the AI so much that you can't simulate the times anymore, because otherwise they'll be too quick for what they should be going at right now, which is why for this episode, we are doing full qualifying. We're Q1. We've got through into Q2. But I think going forwards for the rest of the career mode, I will be switching to short qualifying just to try and make it a bit more efficient to recording it. Because right now, I'm having to legitimately just sit back and relax and do nothing and let the AI in real time do their laps to ensure there's no funny business with the simulation. So I think for that sake, we're going to be going to short qualifying from round number 2 of this season onwards. But for this first episode of the new season, back after 20 days, I thought I'll not confuse everyone, and we'll go in with full qualifying for now. And right now, it's going well for myself and Russell. We're up into the top 10 shootout. Both Red Bulls of Verstappen and Hamilton are through. Both McLarens, Perez, Norris, and the Ferrari of Leclerc. Only one as Sainz is knocked out, and Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin makes it through along with his teammate, and it's Esteban Ocon, who is a real surprise there in the obviously new Infinity Williams Renault. Yeah, popping up in the top. We can't get rid of Ocon. We can't get rid of him doing a madness and pulling his car up the order, whether it's VCarb in F1 Manager or it's Williams here in the game. Ocon is just actually cooking in the F1 games across the board, it would seem. As we're now in Q3 and we're trying to rush out the garage as it is overcast and there is rain on the way. So we want to try and get in a lap before the water actually settles on the circuit. Unfortunately, Russell, my teammate, has thought the same thing, and also one of the Red Bulls ahead as well. So there'll be 2 people ahead of me. Hopefully, maybe I could actually overtake them on the outlap. But right now, it's just overcast, but the rain is on the way. I mean, if it isn't, then it's just very dramatic cloud cover. But basically, this will come down to who gets to the line first. I don't know if that Red Bull is the first car completely out on track, because I went as quickly as I could to go out the garage. The rain has started to fall. It's Hamilton in his new Red Bull, and he lets me by on the outlap. Very, very odd. I really didn't see why he was letting me by. And then into turn 1, it's already very slippery. We go very wide at turn 1, and Hamilton then goes on to race me on the qualifying lap here. I know I've stepped into the very Mercedes car that he used to be in, but I feel like this is a little bit personal with Red Bull v Mercedes here, as Hamilton not only races me, he overtakes me on the qualifying lap. So this is literally the opposite of ideal for us, and to the point where actually I let off throttle and I let Russell go by, because I reckon he's probably on a quicker lap than me. Let's at least have one of our Mercedes cars a bit higher up the order. Pretty much that's my lap in the bin, thanks to Hamilton. And the rain has really come down very quickly. It's very slippery. Fernando Alonso, our championship rival from last season, he is the first car that was out on track, so he has set the time with the driest track conditions possible. Basically, everyone after him obviously has more rain involved, and there you go, myself and Hamilton slower than Stroll, Perez, Russell. So this is not going to be great for us, and that's pretty much it, because the rain is now going to just continue to fall, and it'll be intermediates. And so by the time we go round to come into the pits, we are 9th place. We're behind Hamilton. And after all of this, all the change into this season, I am next to a very familiar name. It's Lando Norris, my old teammate from Season 1 and Season 2. And it's a familiar name up top, Fernando Alonso. He lost the World Championship to me last season, but he starts off the new era of Formula 1 with Aston Martin Honda in the best way possible on pole position. Verstappen up there in 2nd place. Leclerc, Russell, 4 different teams in the top 4. That is really great to see into 2026. Ocon doing really well for Williams up in P7. McLaren on the back foot, even though technically they're the best team on paper. So that'll be interesting in the race. Let's see. Let's go to the grid for round number 1 of 2026.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Fernando Alonso lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Stroll, Perez, Ocon, Hamilton, a Mercedes, Norris, Sainz, Albon, Joe, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Hülkenberg, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Behrman, and Logan Sargent. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me for this afternoon's commentary, Naomi Schiff. Good afternoon, Nose. Now, Ant, as much as I like testing, and I do love testing, and I've really enjoyed the build-up here and all the speculation, I really want to see some action. And finally today, we get some proper action on the track.
This is always such an exciting time in the season. First of all, it's the first time they'll be racing their new cars. So that's always an exciting thing for drivers to look forward to. But also, they've had a long time off during the winter break. So it's about dusting the cobwebs off, getting the rust off of their bones, and really getting their elbows out there and having some fun.
Some very familiar names around us, and some of them, though, in very different machines as we set off for the formation lap and psych ourselves up for the beginning of a brand new season. In terms of the strategy, well, I'm starting on the mediums. A few people have joined me. Quite a few people, actually, surprisingly, starting the race on hard tyres. We do have the increased tyre wear mod on that we had from Season 2, which would hopefully try and nudge ourselves in the AI to some more interesting and dynamic strategies. So perhaps some of these guys going for a more aggressive two-stop with quicker tyres at the end of the race, maybe an audacious one-stop for a few drivers here today. But for me, I think we're going to go medium to hards to end off with. It worked for us really well last time out in Season 2, but this is a very different kettle of fish. It's 2026. 3 new teams have joined the grid. We've got power unit suppliers swapping teams, and we've got a couple of driver transfers in there for good measure. And coupled with the improved AI mod, I'm hoping we're set for an entertaining brand new season here for F1 24 career mode as we go to 5 red lights. Down under, the Australian Grand Prix is underway. 2026 is a go, and Fernando Alonso leads the way in the Aston Martin Honda. We've had a good start wheel to wheel with Hamilton in the Red Bull Ford. We've managed to overtake him and trying to go around the outside now of Lance Stroll from left to right on the circuit. Perez leaving the door open, but we actually have to get the move finished off on Lance Stroll, who tries his best to actually re-overtake us, but we do get up into P7. It's been a very good start for Esteban Ocon up in P5 in the Williams, flying high. He's on the mediums, others around us on the hard, so that may be the reason for the initial change of paces. Verstappen and Leclerc are neck and neck, and we make a late lunge and make the overtake on Sergio Perez and get up into P6, but Leclerc in second, Verstappen down to third. Fernando Alonso leads the way, but of course with that mixed up qualifying, the rain catching people out, the outlap catching people out, we don't really know the true pecking order right now. The way it is could very much change over the course of the next 27 laps or so as we climb up quite quickly, because I feel like P9 really wasn't representative of where we should have been, and they're focusing on the Audi of Zhou Guanyu. P11 doing well after 2 laps as Verstappen now looks to try and swap himself and Leclerc around so he can go chasing after Fernando Alonso. Verstappen up to second, and it's Ocon up to 4th place. Esteban Ocon, he is absolutely cooked George Russell there. The Williams is up into P4. This is very different from Season 2. What did I say? No matter the F1 Manager Series or F1 24, Ocon is just dragging cars up to where I, in my opinion, just don't think they should be. The Williams, you know, we saw on the R&D chart, they made improvements, but not this much. Russell, of course, though, on the hard tyres, so we're actually looking to overtake him as well, and he is going to be slower right now because the medium should be absolutely absolutely fine at the moment, but in a couple of laps time, lap 7 or 8, maybe then the hard tyres will come back into play. But for now, we are definitely on the better race tyre as we look to try and overtake Ocon now on lap 4. We're going to have DRS, bit of battery use there as well, but looking to also save battery for later on to push away from Ocon if we can hopefully get this move done on the outside. Very punchy on the front end and supreme confidence in the car. And the same could be said of Max Verstappen taking his Red Bull forward around the outside of the Aston Martin Honda. Verstappen was a bit of a second character in Season 2, having been in a title fight with Lando Norris in Season 1, really took a back seat with Red Bull in Season 2, but here he is at the forefront again in the series, in this career mode. But Alonso is also another staple. Leclerc in there in P3, and we are now in clean air, looking to try and get our head down, to try and close that gap to Leclerc and chase after a first podium for the Silver Arrows. Russell's time may come later on. He's on a different strategy on the hard, so let's see later on where he ends up. But right now, feeling good versus our teammate is he's still stuck behind Ocon, who overtook him previously, but lap 6, now maybe the tyre wear is starting to kick in for that Infinity Williams, who gets done by Russell and Sergio Perez in his return to McLaren since 2013, going round the outside of Ocon, his former teammate from the Racing Point days, gets up into P6 then. At the moment, although we have been able to drop the cars behind us, we're not making huge progress on Leclerc ahead of us. Alonso pits in. If you actually didn't notice, he was on the soft compound at the start, so no wonder he had such an electric start off the line. But his tyres absolutely were wearing out so quickly there on lap 6, so that was 2 laps to go. He pit, but that does mean he's got 2 laps of an undercut, obviously, as we now come in on lap 8 and really showing the fact that I have been away from this game for 20 days. I forgot which button was which for the limiter and the turning point, so we turned in far too early. That's a little bit frustrating. We lose maybe about a second in the pit stop there. 3.3 compared to ideally 2.3, you're thinking, and we do come out indeed behind Fernando Alonso. Leclerc's come out ahead of us as well, and immediately in front of us, actually on track, is not even either of them. It's Daniel Ricciardo in the brand new Toyota Gazoo racing car as we close up to Australia, and he's on the hards. He's been on those since the start of the race, so yeah, very, very odd. I didn't really expect so many cars to go on the hards at the start, but that's quite promising, at least, to hopefully be getting these different strategies as we go on through the season track to track, because you definitely wouldn't have got that previously without the tyre wear mod that we've got on for this season. But we make quick work of the Toyota and we get up into P7. Leclerc and Alonso fighting ahead of us. Alonso staying ahead of the Ferrari. I believe Leclerc was actually ahead of Alonso before the pit stop, so Alonso pitting that early, albeit off the really worn softs, has actually worked out for him. As it's not going to work out for our old teammate Lando Norris is out of this race. He's slowing up, and I am now feeling more and more happy about my decision to leave McLaren, because knowing my luck on this game, you just know that that would have been my car, not his, having a DNF if I stayed in McLaren. But Lando is out. The Season 1 champion has to have an early retirement from the first round of Season 3 as Leclerc and Alonso are swapping once again, and that's worked out for me because they've been fighting so much that we have closed up. At the moment, no sign of a Verstappen pit stop or Hamilton, so I think the Red Bulls are trying a very audacious one-stop potentially in this race as we get the hurry up from our engineer to go and overtake Alonso. The problem is, though, he's trying his best to overtake and re-overtake, I should say, Leclerc, as we have a little snap at Alonso, but he shuts the door there and does well to try and defend whilst also trying to attack, and he's going to try it again, but this time leaves the door open. We go a little bit more punchy on the inside and really force the move up into second place. Leclerc's first, because now, lap 15, Verstappen has pit at this stage. He's here in P4. He's on the hards, and I suspect with that kind of timed pit stop, he's going to be trying to go to the end of the race. Right now, an Audi, 2 Audis in the top 10, you know. Hamilton outside the top 10 in the Red Bull. That's a bit concerning for him. And then the debutant, the rookie debut, my F2 teammate, Ollie Behrman, struggling in that high-tech. He's going to have to really work hard to improve the high-tech team. And to be honest, I just really hope in a future season he gets a move to a better team. And maybe down the line, you know, what would be even better is get a move to somewhere like Ferrari. You know, he's in the Ferrari Junior Academy, of course, still. That would be quite something to be able to fight him in 2 top cars, obviously having been F2 teammates. That would be the dream. But this year, with the inability to do custom driver transfers in future seasons, we're going to have to leave it down to the game, and I don't have much hope for that, but it would be quite nice. It would be very much like, remember F1 2019, when my F2 story mode teammates ended up fighting me for a championship in our final season on that game, you know, somewhat, you know, 5 years ago. Jesus, time's flown. But yeah, we'll see. But now, going back to our race, we're trying to keep up with Leclerc. Alonso's just pit. Obviously, he's going earlier all the time because he pit early off the soft tyres. But I'm going to take a leaf out of his book and pit the very next lap because the undercut worked so well for him. He was going to get overtaken by me before he made his first pit stop, and then he ended up a couple of seconds ahead. So I think we can try and do the same to Leclerc and jump him by going earlier onto the hard tyres. And even better, it actually looks like I've done an overcut on Alonso. He's been stuck in traffic. Look at this entire gaggle of cars, and we get ahead of Sainz up in P8. Alonso is behind even Lance Stroll, his own teammate, lower than P10. So this has worked out amazingly for us. But we need to keep going, so we're not going to let these Audis hold us up too much. We go for the dive immediately on Valtteri Bottas. And, well, Russell's ahead of Joe there, so you could do me a favour and hold him up a little bit, but I doubt he will. He's doing his own race and trying to stay ahead of these Audis, who, to be fair to them, you saw on the R&D chart, made a huge leap forwards. You know, they ended last season as the worst team on the grid, and now they're right up there in the mid-pack as Leclerc's coming out just behind Russell. Oh my God. That could have been pretty nasty, knowing how the AI have been at turn 1 on the pit exit. That could have been Russell crashing into Leclerc. Instead, we're now going for the move on the Audi. I wanted to go for the move on Leclerc. You saw me thinking about it, but instead Leclerc shut the door and we just finish off the move on both Audis. Our car is covered in dirt as we've been really wringing the neck out of this Mercedes, and you have to on a 2-stop as well. You really have to hustle and harry. Otherwise, the 1-stopper could have an easier time of it. And right now, I'm looking at the timing ladder. I think Verstappen's in a very good position, you know, as Leclerc makes quick work of Russell. Again, Russell could have done me a favour there. Instead, he's going to be a little bit too close for comfort into the chicane. That's my bad, Russell. That's my bad. Not a great first race as teammates. That's not the vibe you want, shoving him off the road. But he was kind of like a mobile chicane in the middle of that stationary chicane we were going through. He didn't do me any solid favours holding up Leclerc, and then just awkwardly was there in the middle of that corner. So I'm sure he'll re-overtake the Audis. He should have the pace for it. If he doesn't, then that's just kudos to the Audis for doing so well on their debut in Formula 1. But we're now being given the hurry up to overtake Leclerc. Perez is coming in. He's a bit odd out in this top 3 fight. Verstappen is still leading then on those hards, and by now I'm pretty convinced he's going to the end. I think the Red Bulls did try the one-stop strategy in Australia last season, so I think they're trying it again as the Audis are sandwiching Russell at the moment as we go for the late lunge on the Ferrari, clouting the curb, little bit of contact with the Ferrari on the left. Leclerc comes back at us, we're wheel to wheel, we lose the back end and the Ferrari gets back ahead for second place, but it was oh so close as, oh wow! Russell's just been done by Zhou Guanyu. The Audis actually legit have a little bit of pace, you know, it would seem, as Zhou Guanyu gets round the outside of Russell. He's now got his old teammate Hamilton for company as we go and chase after Leclerc for the second time now. This time, it's definitely getting booked in for the overtake, but the Ferrari is going to be honest. And look at that gap, though, to Verstappen, 18 seconds. Verstappen has checked out of this race right now as Hamilton makes the move on Zhou Guanyu. He's already overtaken Russell, so Hamilton's flying in his new Red Bull. 2 overtakes in the span of 1 sector there, up to P5, maybe showing that after all of this, the Red Bull Ford is actually clearly the quickest car out there. And to be honest, myself and Leclerc fighting like this isn't helping the situation because we're just slowing each other up, but I can't not defend him because I actually fear that if Leclerc overtakes me, he now may just completely drop me, so I'm trying my best to defend, but Leclerc is staying so on it. He's so aggressive. He had his nose in there. I tried to go for the tighter switchback, but it just didn't work, and he's now looking to pull away. Is even P2 slipping away from us right now? There's a safety car, though? That'll change things. Tsunoda out at turn 1 from the pit exit into the apex, and oh no, his teammates crashed into him. Ricciardo and Tsunoda, even in the Toyotas, doesn't matter, different team brand, they're still having issues together as they crash and cause a safety car. But that safety car is going to change things because I'm going to pit. I'm thinking surely Verstappen's going to be pitting now off those very worn hard tyres because now his advantage has gone away, and this is a replay of, oh no. Oh, Behrman, that is an unfortunate debut in Formula 1, although at the same time teaching him a lesson that this sport is very cruel, it's not forgiving, and in his first outing in Formula 1, or second outing technically, but in this alternate universe, first outing in Formula 1, of course, he is out with an engine failure. High-tech, a lot of work to do to improve the situation as we come in now for a set of soft tyres because I used up my 2 mediums in the race already, so the only logical tyre to go to is softs. 10% wear on the fronts, that's not bad, you know, but the bigger thing is Verstappen's not pit. No one else has. I didn't expect them to. Like anyone who was on a 2-stop anyway, I didn't expect them to pit. But Verstappen, because now his 18-second lead is going to be cut to nil under the safety car, I really thought he was going to pit for another set of tyres. So now he's opened himself up to being attacked by Leclerc, and I'm hoping me on the softs. I know there's going to be limited laps, but we're on much fresher softs compared to anyone on mediums, anyone on hards. This is a gamble, but it's a gamble with my experience on the F1 game. I think this is worth the gamble, and I think this is our only shot at winning this race, maybe. Yep, I'm aiming for P1, not just P2 to overtaking Leclerc. I reckon we can go for P1, but we have to be absolutely on it. And it's going to start here on to lap 27. 3 full racing laps to go. It's green flag, and we go hot lap mode and a bit of overtake mode engaged. Across the line, we'll get the overtake on Perez. We squeeze him to the inside to make sure he's not going to even try and defend that. And now closing up to Ocon on the hards. Alonso on hards. Leclerc hards. Verstappen even older hard tyres. Everyone ahead of me is on hards, apart from maybe Hamilton, actually. Hamilton might be on mediums, but we make a quick work of Ocon. No, Hamilton's on hards as well. Look at the top left. So we're the only person on the softs. We are 2 compounds softer than everyone, and we are laps and laps newer on these tyres, and we make easy work of Alonso. Now we have got 2 laps to go. We have to get the move done on Hamilton, and onto the last lap, maybe we can set ourselves up for at least the move on Leclerc, but I'm really hoping there might be a chance right at the end to overtake Verstappen. To be honest, I'm surprised Leclerc hasn't got Verstappen already as we make a launch and a half on Lewis Hamilton, catch him napping. But this is why I'm actually confident we can maybe even get P1, because even though these guys have track position, and today it generally looks like they've actually had better acceleration as well, we've got that overwhelming grip under braking because of the soft compound to make that last ditch dive maybe here on the last lap of the Grand Prix. But the problem is Leclerc, he's also got fresher hards than Verstappen relative, so he's going to try and also maybe make his own overtake, so we need to be wary of that. and try and almost do a 2-for-1 in a way. But just looking through the top 10 on this final lap, Valtteri Bottas for Audi will be scoring a point, it seems, ahead of my teammate Russell, who's outside the top 10. So the safety car really has maybe gone in favour of quite a few drivers, including this man Leclerc, who is now going to have DRS, I think, as it should be activated now on this last lap of the race. Yes, it is. Both of us open up the rear wing. We're saving battery. Look at Leclerc go. That Ferrari's a bullet. He goes round the outside, and Leclerc is up into the lead, into the final sector. We now make the move of our own on Verstappen. Hamilton overtakes his new teammate. The two Red Bulls swap positions. Verstappen's gone P1 to P4. Can we now go from P2 to P1 in the final corner? We're going to have the grip. We dive down the inside. We catch Leclerc unawares, and we absolutely do him. We finesse the top three.
Are you not entertained?
And we get the win in our first race for the Silver Arrows. And that was all down to the gamble. That is the 300 IQ to make that pit stop when no one else would. Whew. What a win for the reigning champ, huh?
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Albert Park.
And to get a victory at the first race of the season, this might be a sign of things to come. One thing's for sure is that this performance will be giving the team and the driver relief and confidence going into the rest of the season.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
The most ideal way to start off life as a Mercedes Works driver. What a win. A lot of luck involved with the safety car, so there is work to do. The Red Bulls, even the Ferraris look quicker on merit, even maybe Aston for Alonso getting unlucky in the traffic, so we're going to have to see. But what an opening round for this new season, guys. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. 2026 is a go on F1 24. Till next time, goodbye.